North Sea is not a gentle neighbor. It has crushed wooden warships into splinters, split steel hulls wide open, and swallowed entire fleets in silence. For centuries, this stretch of cold, restless water has been more than a geographical feature. It's been a battlefield where empires fought for dominance, a superhighway for trade and shipping, and an industrial frontier that has made and destroyed fortunes. Here, rival powers have clashed. Oil platforms have groaned and twisted in monstrous storms. Submarines have crept through the depths, their presence known only to the few who didn't live to tell about it. Beneath its waves lie thousands of wrecks, from medieval fishing boats to modern tankers, some mapped and memorialized, many still waiting to be discovered. And every day, fishing vessels and cargo ships pass over them without a clue to the stories sleeping just meters below. This isn't just a body of water. It's a witness to invasions, wars, disasters, and decades of political tension. And even today, it remains just as important and just as dangerous as it was in the Age of Sail or during the Cold War. In this story, we'll explore the geography, the history, the wrecks, and the modern battles for resources that make the North Sea one of the most significant and contested maritime spaces on Earth. The North Sea occupies a relatively small patch of the Atlantic, about 570,000 square kilometers, yet it has shaped the fate of entire nations. To the west, it's framed by the cliffs and harbors of the United Kingdom. To the east and south, its shores belong to Norway, Denmark, Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, and France. At its southern edge lies the narrow Strait of Dover and the English Channel, the gateway to the Atlantic for ships passing through. To the north, its waters open into the Norwegian Sea, and from there to the wide Atlantic beyond. Through the Skagerrak and Kattegat Straits, the North Sea connects to the Baltic, a passage that's been a lifeline for Scandinavian and Baltic states for centuries. It's a sea of contrasts. In the south, its sandy shallows rarely exceed 50 meters. In the north, the Norwegian Trench plunges down more than 700 meters, deep enough to hide entire fleets. These depth variations aren't just trivia. They dictate storm patterns, shipping lanes, and fishing grounds, shaping every voyage that takes place here. The North Sea's personality changes with the seasons. In autumn and winter, westerly winds roar in from the Atlantic, funneling into this relatively small basin. Because much of it is shallow, an average depth of just 90 meters, it can't absorb wave energy the way the deep oceans can. Instead, wind-driven waves build quickly, stacking into towering walls of water that crash with frightening power. In severe storms, waves can top 20 meters, taller than a 5-story building. Storm surges have been the sea's deadliest weapon. In 1953, one of the worst in modern history slammed into the coasts of the Netherlands, the UK, and Belgium. Seawalls crumbled. Entire villages vanished. More than 2,500 lives were lost. Less than a decade later, in 1962, the sea struck again. Storm waters breached the dikes along the Elbe River, flooding Hamburg. 300 people died, and rescue boats navigated what had once been city streets. Tidal patterns add another layer of danger. In some places, the tide rises and falls more than 7 meters. Combine that with strong currents and shifting sandbanks, and the North Sea becomes a labyrinth that can change shape overnight. To those who work here, trawler crews, offshore rig engineers, and cargo ship captains, every day begins with the same truth. This sea is never routine. The North Sea is one of the most crowded ship graveyards in the world. The Mary Rose, pride of the Tudor fleet, was part of a naval arms race that extended into these waters. The HMS Stirling Castle was lost in the Great Storm of 1703, taking 200 sailors with her. In 1895, the SS Elbe collided with another vessel in heavy fog and sank, killing more than 330. The 20th century saw disasters not just in war, but in peacetime industry. The Alexander L. Keeland oil platform collapsed in 1980. A fatigue crack in one leg sent the entire structure rolling into the sea, killing 123. The Herald of Free Enterprise ferry tragedy in 1987, when open bow doors let water flood the car deck. The ship capsized in minutes, taking 193 lives. Every wreck tells two stories, one of human ambition and one of nature's power to end it in an instant. Eight nations border the North Sea, but for most of history, it was open water. That changed after World War II, when oil and gas exploration revealed the seabed's hidden wealth. By the 1960s, disputes over drilling rights were unavoidable. Through international agreements, the sea was divided into exclusive economic zones, invisible borders on the map of the seabed. Fishing rights became the next flashpoint. The EU's common fisheries policy dictated quotas for decades, but Brexit reignited old rivalries between British and European fleets. Even today, tensions flare in fishing grounds that have been contested for centuries. The 1960s oil discoveries in the Dutch, British, and Norwegian sectors transformed the North Sea into one of the world's most lucrative drilling regions. The British Brent field became so iconic that Brent crude became a global oil pricing standard. Norway built the world's largest sovereign wealth fund on the back of its oil revenues. At its peak in the late 1990s, the North Sea was producing 6 million barrels a day. But this wealth came at a cost. Brutal winter storms, dangerous working conditions, and an environment that never forgives mistakes. Today, production is declining, but the sea is reinventing itself. Offshore wind farms now rise where oil platforms once stood. Some rigs are being converted into carbon capture sites. Yet oil and gas still matter, especially after Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine pushed Europe to secure energy closer to home. The North Sea has been a trade route, a war zone, a ship graveyard, and an energy hub. It has shaped borders, toppled empires, and changed the lives of millions who've lived along its coasts. Its tides still carry cargo and fishing boats. Its depths still hide wrecks and unexploded weapons. Its winds now spin turbines that power cities. As Europe pushes toward a renewable future, the North Sea's role is shifting. But its importance is not fading. This sea has been many things. But above all, it is a place that remembers. And those who work upon it know, to survive here, you must respect it. If you enjoyed this journey into the history and mysteries of the North Sea, subscribe for more stories of maritime history, shipwrecks, and the untold battles between man and nature.